In this video, I am going to give you a little overview of your Hyperdocs lesson so you can be working on that. So on week 12, here's the heads up, and this is the video I'm making right now. But this Hyperdocs lesson is not due until week 15. So this is the week right before finals week. So if you'll just click on that, it'll take you to the project description page. And I'm not going to read all this to you, but I will highlight some of the things that people tend to miss. So the first thing is that you will turn in 3 documents when you turn this in. There will be one, which is the Hyperdocs lesson explanation. So you are going to be explaining the things on your student copy of the Hyperdocs lesson to me right here on number 1. Then you will have a student copy. So this is the lesson that the students will see, and you will know what this looks like by the time you listen to this video, because you will have looked at lots of different Hyperdocs lessons and you will have started creating your own. So this is the one that the students will look at, and then you will also submit your scoring guide. So there's 3 different documents right from the beginning. So don't forget to do that. And I made a little video here about how to force students to make a copy, because whenever you give them the link to the Hyperdoc, you will want them to make a copy of it for themselves, because if you have them do things within the Hyperdoc itself, then you want them to have their own document, not working with somebody else. Now, there might be, and I hope there are, some collaborative elements to your document, but those are a little bit different. You can link out to those, but if there's something on the Hyperdoc that you want the students to make a copy of for themselves, you need to force their copy. So you look at that right there. Okay, so on this document, you're going to make a copy of it right here. And this is going to be your copy of it. So this is going to be where you're going to make all of your explanations for your Hyperdoc. This is where it's going to be. So you're going to put your name on it and all of that good stuff. Move it to your shared folder, just like you do in every other document. There it is. And there you go. So, all right. So here you should have been looking at lots of different Hyperdocs templates several different times, and looked at them and evaluated them and all kinds of different things. You're going to give me the source of the original document or the original template that you got. And the reason I do that is because I want to know where you started, because I am not asking you to start from scratch. I'm not. I'm asking you to adapt and make it your own. And you can start with a template, and that's okay. So if you start with this basic Hyperdocs template, then I want you to go to that template itself and give me that link. Okay, so you're going to have that right here, and you're going to put it right there. Now, you're going to make a copy of that for your own purposes. So if you need to make a copy, you go up here, File, Make a Copy, and then you will tell it where to put it, what folder, and all of that. So you'll make your own copy before you start making changes. Okay, so this will be it will become the part where the students make their own, or the part where the students see that they have right in front of them, where they're going through the lesson. All right, so I went back to this because I kind of have to have one of these. So I'm going to make a copy of this for my own purposes right now. And I'm putting it in my drive and my folder. Okay, so this is going to be my copy. Okay, so the 2 documents that you need to have kind of side by side are your copy, and I'm going to put my name on this one too, because this is the one that I'm changing. And you are going to have this one, the explanation page, and this one, the Hyperdocs lesson, right here in front of you, right side by side. Now, you are going to get rid of all this extra stuff, okay? because you want it to just be what you are going to show the student. So I have no idea what this is going to be, but let's say life cycle of a plant. Okay, so don't leave any of this extra stuff on here. If you don't use some of these parts down here, just delete them. Okay, so after making that copy for my own purposes, that's what I'm going to put right here. Okay. All right, so then you're just going to fill this out and make sure that you have a specific grade level. If you're high school, don't put 9th through 12th. Put 9th grade world history or 9th grade biology, or same thing with elementary and middle school. Choose a grade level and a specific content area. And then you're going to write your objective. And then what you're going to do is on here, you see how engage, explore, explain, these sections of the lesson plan correspond over here. So in engage, they say engage students at the beginning with a video, a quote, or other inspirational hook in this box. It can be other things too. You can even have students respond in some way. It doesn't just have to be a resource, but it needs to have some direction. It needs to have some hook of some sort. So let's say that I put a video and I'm going to say, let's check out what a plant looks like, blah, blah, blah. Watch this video to see. And then I'd put the link of the video. And so then after I did that, I would come over here and I would tell, as the student, I would tell Dr. Fox what my students are going to be doing. The students will be watching a video of a plant life cycle song to get them excited about the topic. They will be learning what? They will be learning the 4 steps in the life cycle of a plant. Okay? Really simple. You're just telling me what they were going to be doing, and this should include what kind of resource they have, and then what do you expect them to be learning. And you might it's going to be varied depending on what content area you have. So you're going to be doing that for each one of these. And remember that you're also going to have places within here that you add visuals, you also add links, and make sure that it is a link on the words themselves. So if I highlight something, I'm going to come up here and link it instead of just putting the URL out here for that will look really horribly. Like if I put this link here and I string it out like that, that looks horrible. But if I say that's a video and I'm going to put it on here, I can put it on there like that, and that's much better. Okay, so make sure you do that for each one of yours. But make sure you also include places for them to respond within here. If you want them to, remember this is their own copy. So if you want them to take notes here, then you might leave them a couple of lines to write within, but make sure you tell the students what they should be doing here. So, and you're talking directly to them. So when I said, let's check out what a plant looks like, I'm talking to the students. And then I would say something like, click on the resources below to explore each step of the plant life cycle. Take notes on the important aspects, or whatever it is. But then I'd have links here for them to explore. And then same thing with here. So after I go get the links or get the resources, then I'm going to go over here and tell what they will be doing. Students will be exploring various resources. Each one has blah, 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 and then tell what they will be learning at those resources. Okay, so we're going back and forth, back and forth. All right, so you're going to do explain and evaluate, where the assessment will be. Make sure that you put opportunities for collaboration and note taking, just like this would be a note taking one. And then maybe I have students in the explain portion do something collaborative on a Padlet or make a slide on a collaborative Google slide presentation, something to where they have collaboration throughout. And you're going to add that here. You're going to list these two opportunities, at least two. You're also going to include at least one teacher-created resource. Remember back on the creative tools assignment where you created something with two different examples with the tool. You can use one of those here, but you don't have to. But you have to create something within your Hyperdocs lesson where the students learn from something you've created. And I give a couple of examples here. A screencast video like what I'm giving right now. You can use Screencastify. An audio clip like SoundCloud or Audio Boom to explain something. You might create a chart or a graph or an image. You might create an assessment, but you need to name what it is and you need to link it right here so I can go directly to it. And then the same thing with the student creation. You need to have the students create something throughout the lesson. And most likely you'll have them create more than one thing, but you could have them create a video on Flipgrid, a Padlet, a ThingLink, lots of different things. But what you're going to do here is you're going to give the tool and the link to the example, and then you are actually going to create an example that your students would create. So think about them and what they, and the reason I do this is because I want you to go through the process of creating something that you've asked them to create. Because if it takes you too much time or if there's too many challenges for the level of students you're working with, then you might need to change your mind and change your assessment or whatever that is as a part of your Hyperdocs lesson, wherever that is in there. And then the final part is you need to give citations for all of the resources that are within your lesson. So over here, if I put lots of links in my Explore section, and then I use an Edpuzzle here, just to make sure that you put all of the links to all of the references and do them in APA like we talked about in when we were talking about copyright and fair use. Give all of the correct information. And one more thing that you need to do in this section is that one of the requirements for this assignment is that you have 4 out of the 5 different types of media that we talked about earlier in the semester. And so you need to make sure and have video, text, audio, image, and peers. And peers can just be something collaborative like we talked about earlier. And so just make sure and label those. See how I labeled this YouTube video right behind it with video. So I just want to make sure that you have at least 4 out of the 5 there. And this part of your assignment is worth 30 points. So, so then you will turn in this completed, the student Hyperdoc, this document completed, and then your other document will be your copy. And I have all this stuff here laid out on your Hyperdocs project page. And the third document will be your scoring guide. So just make sure and make a copy of that, move it to your shared folder so you have it to turn it in. The final thing that you need to do will be to add it to your In My Classroom page. So if we go to that page, all the way down on the Hyperdocs lesson section, it tells you exactly what to put in there. A short paragraph about what Hyperdocs are and their value for learning, and then describe your specific lesson, and then link your Hyperdocs lesson, the one the students will be using. You can even embed it if you want to, but just make sure that it's linked. So all of that will be due by the time that the Hyperdocs lesson assignment is due. And that is it.